Oh, the land of the free and the home of the brave. I'm a proud American from my birth to the grave. 47's the top, took a bullet for all. Didn't flinch, didn't run, still they answered the call. And we said, be tight, be tight, be tight. The Officer Tatum Show. Be tight, be tight, be tight. The Officer Tatum Show. Oh, the land of the free and the home of the brave. I'm a proud American from my birth to the grave. 47's the top, took a bullet for all. Didn't flinch, didn't run, still they answered the call. And we said, be tight, be tight, be tight. The Officer Tatum Show. Be tight, be tight, be tight. The Officer Tatum Show.
If you don't believe that we are in a fight today, you're sleeping under a rock. If you get hit and you lay down and you cry and you fold up in the corner, definitely you will not win the fight. We show up to win. Our culture needs a lot of you young people in here to step up and stand out. There is nothing or no principality, power, division, devil can stop us when we're united. They can only get you when you're divided. When I see the American flag, I see us progressing to something that can be awesome and great. And if you don't plan on winning then, you might as well go on the day.
Ladies and gentlemen, ladies, welcome back to another Officer Tatum Show. All right, we got some breaking news out of Fort Stewart. I guess somebody nutted up and decided to shoot up their fellow soldiers, their fellow buddies on the battlefield. Now, I don't know why the guy did it. I don't think there's a clear motive of why he has done it, but he ended up shooting 5 soldiers, and all of them are going to make a speedy recovery, thank God. It appears that there was no critical injuries, nobody died. But here's the news clip regarding that, and they have identified the suspect in this particular shooting. Roll the clip.
We're getting updates now on the active shooter situation at Fort Stewart Army Post in Georgia. A suspect is in custody after bullets rang out in the facility's 2nd Brigade combat area. And looking at this, Fort Stewart is located about an hour southwest of Savannah. And you heard me mention previously that authorities in Savannah are offering their help along with Georgia State Police. So this is really a situation that has accumulated so much help around because of its proximity to areas. So the base is on lockdown. It remains so. 5 people are injured. No person is confirmed dead at this point. So we pray that that remains the case. We are monitoring the situation. We'll bring you any new information. Fort Stewart is located, again, not far from Savannah. It is home to the U.S. Army's 3rd Infantry Division. Thousands of soldiers and their family members are assigned to this base. There are elementary schools, both on post and off, and those elementary schools have been put on a hard lockdown on post, a soft lockdown as you feather out away from the post. The Associated Press says this is the largest Army post east of the Mississippi River.
Now let's go to clip 4, because that is, I think, the commander identifying that they have identified a suspect and located the suspect in this particular shooting. Roll the clip.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for joining us. This morning, shortly before 11 o'clock, an active duty soldier assigned to Fort Stewart, Georgia, shot and wounded 5 of his fellow soldiers here on Fort Stewart. Thankfully, all are in stable condition and all are expected to recover. The alleged shooter is in custody. We have reestablished security. I have lifted all lockdown measures on Fort Stewart, and there is currently no threat to the local community. I'd like to recognize and thank our Army law enforcement and medical personnel and our partners from local, state, and federal law enforcement and emergency services for their quick response and support. I would also like to thank the brave soldiers who immediately intervened and subdued the shooter. These soldiers, without a doubt, prevented further casualties. Our wounded soldiers were initially evacuated to Wynn Army Community Hospital right here on Fort Stewart. All arrived in stable condition, and 3 of the 5 required surgical intervention. 2 have been transported to Memorial Hospital in Savannah, Georgia for additional care. We have identified the alleged shooter as Sergeant Cornelius Radford, an automated logistics sergeant assigned to 2nd Brigade Combat Team. Sergeant Radford has not previously deployed to combat. Sergeant Radford has been interviewed by the Army Criminal Investigation Division and is currently in pretrial confinement, awaiting a charging decision by the Office of the Special Trial Counsel. Right now, our primary focus is first on caring for our injured soldiers and their families, and also supporting the soldiers of the Spartan Brigade. All of the families of the victims have been notified, and we're wrapping our arms around them and ensuring we provide them all the support that we can. Before I take questions, I want to remind you that this is an ongoing investigation and we're still gathering questions. And ladies and gentlemen, I'll now take your questions.
General Lewis will be in Coastal News. Can you give us his what unit he was assigned to and how long he served in the Army?
So I got to get some more information. I see people in the chat saying that he had recently gotten a DUI, so he seemed to be a troubled soldier. Unfamiliar, at least I'm unfamiliar why he decided to shoot these individuals. There is no photos or pictures or any identifying markers of the individuals he shot. So therefore, if I had more evidence or more information, I could probably make more of an assumption of maybe why this could have happened. I never served in the military, so I don't really know how incredibly crazy the dynamics could be in the military. You would think that most people are squared away, but I can see that there are some people who may be dealing with issues. If a person has not deployed to combat zones, I'm less likely to believe that this person has PTSD and is becoming violent because of that reason. More than likely, is this a troubled soldier who got into a conflict or argument with one of his buddies or a group of buddies and decided he was going to shoot him up. I don't really know exactly how the firearm policy is on the base, but I know soldiers can't even carry a firearm off the base. At least they don't have a service weapon. You know, they have to check those weapons out and check them back in, I guess, when they're getting ready to go to war. But most of them that I know, when they wear their BDUs and they're just off base, they don't have guns on them. Now, maybe in some states they allow them to carry, which I think they should, because you're a target being in military BDUs and you ain't got nothing to protect yourself and you're in full garb. So I think that's kind of weird. But people in the comment section are saying that the guy had previously gotten a DUI. So he's probably in every profession you got dirtbags. I think we all can agree to that, right? You got police officers that are dirtbags. They should have never been cops. We wish we could take them out back and handle business the old school way. But that's not the way the system works. We just hope for the day that they get fired without hurting nobody in the process. There are those that are silly like that. Same thing probably is with the military. Again, I want to repeat, just so everybody's on the same page, there were no fatalities. I know that it was reported early on that 2 people had died, but I think it's probably because 2 people had to be transported to another hospital, and then they assumed that they had passed away or something of that nature, coming from the media with limited information. As it stands right now, the information I have, and according to the commander, is nobody was killed. There were injuries that appeared that the soldiers will recover from. It appeared that 2 of them had to have intervention surgery, but the other 2 didn't, if I heard them right. So that's pretty much what it is. And I don't think it was very hard for them to find him. because he was a soldier on the base. And I'm pretty sure the people who were shot said exactly who it was. It was him. It was him. Now, it will remain to be seen if there's any reports or information that he was a volatile actor or he had signs and symptoms of being violent and they ignored it, and then he's acting out on the military base. Also, one thing, and I'm not trying to make it racial, I would like to know if this had any racial components to it. Now, if he shot a bunch of black soldiers, which is very well possible because it's in Georgia and a lot of black people serve in the military, then I don't think it's that odd or race related, because it seems to be people will take their frustration and actions out against other people that they know. But if it's him and all white guys with the climate of America today, I would wonder, could this be racially motivated? And so I don't have that information, so I'm not going to, continue to lament to that or lament on that point. So I'll concede or move on. But that's just some updates. So if you guys are just joining, they caught the suspect. Nobody was killed. Thank God Almighty. All right, let's get to another story. The runaway Texas representatives. So I wasn't really familiar with this situation, but the controversy is that it appears that they were going to bring representatives to a vote in the state of Texas or something of that nature. Y'all correct me if I'm wrong in the chat. I should have looked this up a little more. I was listening to it on the radio, and I've been rushing in here. So it appears that Democrats have left the state of Texas, therefore they can't vote. Maybe it was something like that. Governor Abbott needed these people to be there. They decided to leave in protest. And it was said that according to the Constitution in the state of Texas, if they leave in a certain point that he call a vote and they're absent, he can remove them from office. Now, they could also be charged with a crime, I heard, but I gotta look into that. But it appears that this woman, I'm not gonna call her bald head. I'm not gonna do that to her today. This woman is making a statement as if she's a victim because she decided to flee her responsibilities, abandoning her responsibilities in Texas, and claiming that Governor Abbott is going to put her in jail. So roll the clip, and I'm going to make sure I get some information while we listen to the clip to verify what I'm saying. Roll the clip.
I sort of liken this to war. When you're in a war, you may go away and you have to leave your village to take care of your kids. That's just what happens. And you see all these videos where a child hasn't seen their parent in months and they do something at some basketball game or football game and they break down. We are in a war. So wars call for unconventional things, and wars actually call for sacrifice from families. That's how it is. So people only think of the military, and I want to thank service members. My dad was a Marine in Vietnam, came back not the same, and blew his brains out. That's another story for another day. I was with him when he did it. But I understand the sacrifice of families. My family, we lost my father to suicide. So this is just one of those times. I mean, I can't imagine living in a time with no voting rights. I can't imagine living in a time with no civil rights, but that's where we are. And so what do we do under this new playbook? We thought we were moving forward and Republicans are taking us back. So we got to figure this out and we got to stand in the gap. And yes, it's hard. I have a granddaughter. I adore her. I miss her. But I'm going to have to be okay with FaceTime because I can't come back to see her. Because there's not a doubt in my mind that the Texas State Troopers will arrest me. And if I'm arrested, I literally can't fight for democracy. So I've got to sacrifice. It is what it is. It makes me sad, but it is what it is.
There's nothing like a grandma love, I'm telling you.
It's the best gift ever. It's the best gift ever.
Is that what you're fighting for?
Of
Her
course.
future?
Don't you think I want my granddaughter to have opportunities? I want her to have opportunities.
Shut this lady up. I'm tired of I'm tired of listening to these people. They're so evil and so fake and so disingenuous. I mean, so just giving a little more context, pretty much what happened, and obviously Donald Trump probably framed them as the runaway Democrats. Typically what happens is people decide, the state legislator decide to flee their state. They leave the state. so that they don't have to participate in the vote. And you need a minimal number of people in order to bring something to a vote. So if there's not enough people, you cannot bring it to a vote. And so what these people are doing is circumventing the system by saying they're going to intentionally flee the state so they can't bring this legislation to a vote. And I believe the legislation that they're talking about here is redistricting. Now let's talk about this for a minute. Okay, it says some of the famous examples is in Texas in 2021. Over 50 Democrats, state legislators, left the state and flew to Washington, D.C. to block Republican-led voting law they said would suppress minority votes. Wisconsin, 14 Democrats state senator in 2011 fled to Illinois to delay a vote on a bill that limited public workers' collective bargaining rights. Oregon, multiple times from 2019 to 2021, Republican lawmakers also did this, showing that it's no limit to one party. It's not limited to one party, but the phrase runaway Democrats usually refers to the Democrats. Now, let's go to the one that just happened recently, August the 3rd, 2025. Most House Democrats departed Texas, some to Chicago, others to New York, to prevent the legislature from reaching a 100-member, I think it's quorum, required to advance the GOP's proposed redistricting map. Republicans aim to add up to 4 new congressional seats, favoring the GOP in the 2026 midterm, and alleged requested by President Donald Trump. Now, I'm going to look up something real quick while I'm talking to you guys on the phone because I think it's important. Is this illegal? I heard it was illegal for them to do this. Is this illegal according to Texas Constitution? One second. Constitution. For some reason, my phone don't want to auto-populate words no more. But anyway, just so you guys know, in the interim, I bought a new teleprompter. So I'm looking at teleprompter now. I see all of your comments. And that was good because some of you guys were saying he had a DUI, and I could see it when I was talking, which is great. So shout out to Nick for ordering me a teleprompter. Now I'm legit. 5 years in, baby, I'm legit now. 100% legit. Wait till y'all see me read them ads, boy. I'm going to look like a pro. All right, let's get back to the subject at hand. It says that according to the Texas law and the Texas Constitution, the act of leaving a state to deny quorum, while controversial, is not itself a crime. However, it does trigger a number of constitutional and procedural consequences. Core requirement and authorities to compel attendance. Texas Constitution requires 2/3 of the House members, 100 of the 150 to be present to conduct business, meaning walkouts can legally prevent votes. The legislature has the power to compel audience. The House can issue civil arrest warrants via the sergeant at arms to forcibly return absent members, but only within Texas state lines. So that's probably why they freaking leave the state. They cannot extract across state lines. Let's see. Governor Abbott and General Paxton have filed quo warrantos. It's kind of called quo warranto. What kind of language is that? We speak English. Quo warranto. Petition in the state Supreme Court arguing that legislators abandoned and forfeited their office by deliberately avoiding legislative session. A 2021 non-binding Attorney General opinion, or AG opinion, provides the legal foundation. A court may declare a seat vacant if a legislator willfully abandons or abdicates their duty, though enforcement is consistent or are considered complex and slow. So technically, according to the Constitution in the state of Texas, and obviously, I want to say legal guidance, they can actually deem that these people have forfeited their position and they can be removed from office. I hope they do it. I don't care if it's Democrats or Republicans or not. If you are supposed to be in office doing your job and you try to intentionally leave your base so that you can obstruct the vote because it's not in your favor, that's not the will of the people. That's not, to me, that's what they call dereliction of duty. That means you didn't do what you're supposed to do. You intentionally did it. It's not that you're absent because you're on vacation or because you're somewhere else doing philanthropic things. You are leaving your position, your post in office to absconder, pretty much, your responsibilities as a state legislator. I think you should, that's forfeiting your position. If the people have called you to be active and you intentionally do it to avoid vote, they should either do one of two things, or maybe both, I guess. You should forfeit your seat, or they should vote without you because you've made the intent to not be present. Why can't we set it up like that? Maybe this will continue to start a precedent that will allow states to do that. I don't care if you're a Republican or not. If you tear your butt because you somehow you trying to, thwart legislation, that's not what your job position is. And you can't circumvent that when you don't get your way. That's cheating the system. And maybe they should do both. You intentionally did it. She's on Don Lemon's show saying how she intentionally did it. Your vote don't count. You don't need to be present. So it's just like when people boycott. You can boycott in the private sector. You can't boycott in certain government positions. Like police can't boycott. Firefighters, EMS can't boycott. It is, I think it could be a crime if you boycott, or they can do something to you because they have to be able to protect the public from a walkout or a strike on the police department, and therefore nobody's protected and the city gets overrun. The same kind of theology should be applied to Congress or the state representatives, because then therefore every time you don't like something, then you just leave the state and no vote happens. And then when your party is in power, you stay in the state and you vote in your favor. This is crazy to me. I think people should go to jail over this. Let's listen to what Greg Abbott said. Video clip 2. Roll it.
Breaking news now. Texas Republicans are taking on the lawlessness of Texas Democrats on the run. The GOP is ready to vote on redrawing the state's congressional map. Governor Abbott is now suing those Democrats who fled the state to try to block the vote. He says they abandoned their office and the people who voted for them. And developing now the Democrat plan to stay out of Texas until Republicans kill the plan to redistrict. So are they moving out forever? I'm Harris Faulkner. This is the Faulkner Focus. Now a look at the list of those Democrats who were no-shows for Tuesday's House session. It's long, 54 names, including the caucus chair, Jean Wu. Governor Abbott filed an emergency petition yesterday to remove Wu from his position. He calls him the ringleader of the derelict Democrats. Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton was with me, as you know, yesterday, and he has an ultimatum. Starting this Friday, any rogue lawmakers refusing to return to the House will be held accountable for vacating their office. If you don't show up to work, you get fired. AG Paxton again in focus yesterday.
This is the third time I've seen it in my political career. I haven't seen the Democrats ever leave on any other issue, whether it was abortion, whatever we talked about, they would stay and fight. This is the only issue that they've ever cared enough about to leave. And as ironic as it is, going to Illinois, probably the most gerrymandered state in the country, it's so hypocritical. It's incredible.
DNC Chair Ken Martin on Fox this morning was defending Democrats after visiting with them in Illinois yesterday.
This isn't just some sort of stunt. I mean, this requires everyone at this point, not just Texas Dems, but people throughout this country. Governor Newsom, Governor Hochul, Governor Pritzker, other governors, members of Congress, and other elected officials who are standing up right now against this illegal power grab.
Somebody brought up a good point in the chat. It says, what if the people in the military just decide to leave their posts? I think that's considered absconding. I think that's a federal crime. You can't just quit the military in the middle of active duty. Therefore, everybody would just do it because they don't want to fight a certain war. Then they boycott a war and then we all die, right? So you go to prison for doing stuff like that. And I think that also people that are in positions of political power should be held to that standard. And I say it again, and I'll say it till I'm green in the face. Republicans and Democrats alike. If you're a Republican and you do this, you need to be in trouble. If you're a Democrat and you do this, you need to be in trouble. The people have voted for you to do your mother freaking job. And I don't think it's that difficult to do. But these Democrats are so evil because they, maybe it's attacked by the Republicans that may be unfair to the Democrats. So I don't care. I don't know if y'all know me yet, but I don't care. I do not care if we do things nefarious as long as it's legal against the Democrats so we can remain in power. I don't care. Why, Brandon? Because they will do it. They have done it. They've tried it. AWOL is what they call it if you leave in the military. You go AWOL. Desertion. All right, somebody's clarifying some of it because I ain't looked at this stuff in a long time. I'm not a military person. Let me go back to what people are saying in the chat. They said it's not AWOL during time of war, it's desertion. So maybe when it's not wartime, it's AWOL. In the war, it's desertion. What did I get absconder from? I don't know what it is. If they leave the post, that's not AWOL. Let's see. They're running scared is desertion. And I think you go to prison for a long time for desertion. All right, back to the point. They'll do it. They'll do anything they can to win. They'll do anything they can to get power. They'll do anything they can to get ahead. They did it in the 2020 election. They'll lie, they'll cheat, they'll steal, they'll kill. And so I don't care at this point if we do a little dirt, if we fight in the dirt with them and we secure the bag on our side. I don't care. As long as it's legal and it's some roundabout way that we've done it, I am good with that. I think it's deserving, in my opinion, it's deserving for us to have our wins too, because they can't just be the only ones winning. I think it's crazy if we think that makes sense. Let's see. Vulture, thanks so much for the super chat. So can anyone just lock up a state lawmaker just by leaving the state? No, I think that the part of this argument is that you're leaving the state while trying to evade a vote, right? You're mandated to be at the vote. The governor can compel or representatives, other House representatives, or even congressional members in the state can compel you to come back by giving you a civil arrest. So this is not something that's voluntary. This is mandatory. And if you decide to leave in a mandatory vote, that's when it's a problem. If you leave the state because you going on vacation and you hanging out, that's not an issue. You leave the state after you've been ordered to be there to vote. That's where the problem comes in. So let's not get it twisted. It's not just if you leave the state and they go, you can't leave the state because we don't want you to. It's like, no, you're supposed to be here for a vote and you're intentionally evading the vote so you can get your way politically. It's wrong. So ram it down their throats. I hope that they all get fired if they don't show up on Friday and then I hope that if they can't really do nothing about it, I hope the Republicans continue to fight for this for a year. Let's weigh them out. How long can they stay gone? Well, you ain't gonna see your family. Just stay for a year. Can y'all do it for 2 years? Can you do it for the rest of Trump's administration? Hold off for the rest of Trump's administration and see if these Democrats stay gone out of the state that long. I doubt it. They want to call the bluff of the Republicans, and I hope that they pay for it. Let's go to the video of Beta Male O'Rourke, clip 3. Look at this coward. Just the face somebody would love to spit on. Now, I wouldn't spit on his face or slap him. Or beat him up or nothing. I would never do anything like that. I don't promote violence. Somebody might want to, and I don't condone if they do it, but I think he looked like they want to. All right, roll the clip.
So Paxton says Democrats' failure to return constitutes what he calls a, quote, dereliction of their duty as elected officials. What is your response to that?
I think what they're doing is the highest form of public service. They're trying to stop the consolidation of authoritarian power in America as Trump and Greg Abbott and Ken Paxton and the Republicans in Texas, thick as thieves, try to steal these 5 seats in Texas, because without them, Trump's going to lose a majority in the House of Representatives. And without that majority, there's a check on his lawlessness, accountability for his crimes and corruption, and the possibility of free and fair elections going forward. Those 56 Texas Democrats are all that stand between that future and where we are right now. And so we've got to have their backs. And I'm so grateful that tens of thousands of Americans have texted fight to 20377 to make sure they have the resources for their lodging, their food, their flights, and to the point that you made earlier, the defense that they're going to need as both Greg Abbott, the governor, and Ken Paxton, the AG, take them to the courts.
Fair elections moving forward. When has the Democrats been the party of fair elections? I just don't get it. Now, all of a sudden, they claim fair elections. They said the election was fair. The elections have been fair. There was nothing that happened in 2020. And now they're saying the elections are not fair because we're holding people accountable. Now, if the Republicans can redistrict legally, let them redistrict. That's like saying that a Republican president shouldn't be able to put another Republican into the, what is that? I'm blanking on the name of it. Supreme Court justice shouldn't be able to put in a Supreme Court justice. Well, just because we win 3 terms and we're in position when Democrats retire to put a Republican in, that's strategic, but that's not a crime. That's not illegal. That's called strategy. Like, for instance, I personally think that Clarence Thomas should resign or not resign, but retire and let a younger Republican take his position, and we can put them in the position of power now. Because what we would hate for it to happen is that Clarence Thomas have to retire under a Democrat. Because if he retires under a Democrat, they're going to replace a Republican with a Democrat. If he retires under President Donald Trump, they could put a younger Republican in there that can be there for the next 30 years. And if we get J.D. Vance for 2 more terms, one of these Democrats is going to be done. We could put another Republican on the Supreme Court. And therefore, we'll never have to worry about leftist lunacy ever again. And that's just my opinion. Let's see. Lone Wolf, thanks so much for the super chat. Democrats on lean for punishment like children. Is that lean or learn? I can't even see the difference. Democrats on learn. Is that Learn? I think that's learn. Democrats on learn, maybe gon' learn from punishment. I don't know how is it. They don't care unless we do it to them. They don't change unless there are consequences for their actions. I agree 1,000, 100,000, million, gazillion percent. Let's see. So let's continue. Runaway Democrats. I hope these jokers go to jail for what they did or get arrested. Let's go on to Brooke Goldstein, roasting CNN for lack of knowledge on Israel Hamas. Let me do this real quick before I let her talk. Because one of my guys that work with me, he literally will never let me give him a salary, but he's been working with me from Canada, just helping out and volunteering his time, which has been an incredible blessing. And also, before I jump in it, I got an update for you guys. So don't tell the people at Salt and Honey. Don't tell them. It's just between us. They probably not watching this part. But everybody that supported Salt and Honey, that donated, 100% of the proceeds is going to go to them. None of it goes to me. I don't need it. We were able to raise $5,400 for them. Now, the owner of Salt and Honey said that he will match it and give it to the police department. But I'm going to make sure that they get this money and they can do whatever they want to do with it when they get it. But we've raised $5,424 for Salt and Honey. What an incredible blessing. That devil who tried to tear their company down led them to overwhelming support and a blessing. So thank you guys for participating in that. And I feel like I still got to give some too, because I haven't donated yet. But I'm going to donate before I close it out. And then we're going to give them the check. But one of my guys sent me this letter and he said, have you seen the aid that has been going to Gaza, right? The aid that's been going to Gaza. Let me read this real quick before we bring the Israeli lady on here, or the lady that's representing or advocating for Israel, or advocating on their behalf. I don't know. I'm going to say directly on their behalf. I got to be very careful about what I say, because somebody's going to say, she working for AIPAC? She working for a foreign government? It's like, no, she's pro-Israel. So, okay. And let's go with this. This is what he sent me. The humanitarian aid summary. 38,933 pallets have been collected. 33,688 have been intercepted. 5,000 have arrived. I'll process this real quick. What does these numbers mean? Pallets scanned and officially recorded by UN monitors at the Gaza border crossing after being allowed in. Keep that in mind. The number that I gave you means that they were scanned and officially recorded by the UN monitors at the Gaza border crossing after being let in. Intercepted mean aid diverted after collected while in transit inside Gaza, defined as either peacefully by hungry people or forcibly by armed actors. Let me tell y'all something I saw on I'm gonna finish it because it's more. But let me tell y'all something I seen on ChatGPT, because me and my wife been talking about this forever. I asked them the question: is Hamas taking aid from Palestinians at the feed zones? They said there is no evidence that Hamas is taking it. I might just read it to you. There is no evidence that Hamas is taking stuff in the feed zone. I said, is Hamas killing people there is no evidence that Hamas is killing people. Then it goes on. Subsection 2 says, according to the UN, 90% of the feed or the aid that's coming into the country is being hijacked. 90%. And it's being hijacked by armed gang members, not Hamas. So tell me, somebody that understands the region, who else has AR-15s, or not AR-15, they probably got AK-47s. Who else have guns in Israel and sophisticated enough to pretty much rob 90% of the incoming aid except for Hamas? They literally, I got to pull it up. I got to pull it up for you because I don't want to misquote none of this. Let me pull this doggone stuff up. And this is why people don't know what's going on, because even the information that's out there is inconsistent and most of the time lying. I'm finna pull this up. Hamas civil claim. Let's see. All right, here we go. Is Hamas doing this? Let me read right where it says it at. They literally will refuse to call armed people. All right, here we go. Because I said, how does Hamas eat? And it couldn't tell me how to eat. Okay, it says most aid theft linked to gangs or chaos. UN data shows nearly 90% of UN aid trucks entering Gaza between May and early August of 2025 were looted. But the perpetrators are categorized broadly as armed actors or starving people. What do you mean? So y'all are labeling them armed actors, but not Hamas. So therefore, when people look it up and say, is Hamas stealing the aid? They say, no, Hamas haven't stolen any aid. When Israel says the reason that there's been a bottleneck between us and the UN, because the UN won't allow Hamas to transport the food to the people. And Israel is saying they're stealing the food. And so, but when you look it up, Israel is lying because Hamas is not doing it. It's not verified. But then they call them armed actors that have the capability of looting 90% of the aid that's coming in. Y'all, this stuff made me so frustrated because it's just... Anyway, let me finish reading this. Humanitarian reality. Total aid pallets tracked after crossing the border is 38,000, like I said before. 33,600 or so, which is 87%, were intercepted before reaching their destination. That means 5,000 pallets, 13% successfully arrived. All right, let's put the lady on the screen because I'm going to let her just... Why are people willfully ignorant on this topic is crazy to me. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to have a debate, and I want you guys... I'm going to probably make a post for you guys to tell me who you want on the debate. I'm going to have a panel with pro-Israeli people and then an anti-Israeli person, meaning not Israeli, but anti-Gaza thing. So people that support what's going on in Gaza, that have information from the Gaza's perspective, or support Israel and have information from Israeli perspective, and then somebody who supports Gaza that have information from the Gazan perspective. I'm going to bring them on and we're going to have a panel discussion. It's not a debate. I don't like debates. I think it gets weird and foolish and people arguing over each other. We're going to have a conversation. I'm going to try to stay neutral. Y'all know where I stand. But I want people who are experts, or people who know what they're talking about, who've been in this for years, understand the history of the region, to be able to have a conversation together, including myself. So y'all tell me who y'all want on there. Candace Owens is not on the ballot. I'm not arguing with my sister. If she want to come on, she can come on, but I don't want no problems with my sister. And I'll say this forever and ever. I don't agree with Candace's perspective. I have my perspective. She's entitled to her opinion. I'm entitled to my opinion. Me and family don't fight. I'm not fighting her. She got her own platform. She can say what she want. I got my own platform. I say what I want. And I'm not interested in causing no beef and trying to stir up the pot between the family for people to be entertained. I'll bring Nick Fuentes on. I'll bring any other pro Hamas or pro Palestinian person on that disagrees with Israel. People keep saying son of Hamas, Myron, son of Hamas. If you watching this, somebody send it to him. I text him, I message him, and I follow him on social media. Son of Hamas has to be one of the people. He is the most sensical person that I've seen on the topic, just about from anybody. So I'm gonna get 2 Israeli people, 1 Gazan person, and the reason I'm gonna do that because I don't want too many people on the panel, but I want 2 pro-Israeli, 1 Gaza person, and then we can have a discussion. I'm gonna be fair. Right now, son of Hamas is one that I want to get, and Myron is the other one that I want to get. I might do Dave Smith if Dave Smith is available, because I do want it to be a fruitful discussion. And I do want people that's doing this all day long to be able to have a debate, because I'm not as informed as some of these other people. I just know what I know, and I support Israel. And all the research that I've seen, which is more contemporary historical information, not when Israel first started and all the wars and the conspiracies, and I just haven't gotten to all that. But I know people have dug in the weeds. And it will be a good conversation. But and this young lady right here that you finna hear, she's on the list too of potential people I'm gonna bring on. And I may do it more than one time. So therefore it's not too biased. Like, I'll have Israeli people in Gaza and I'll bring some new people on to have a conversation about it. But I think that this conversation is important. This is an important conversation because it is driving me crazy every day with the misinformation that's out there. But anyway, let me let the young lady say her piece. Roll the clip.
Frankly, the truth is Israel should have never left Gaza, because before 2005, we did not have a terrorist state. We had a booming economy. We had equality for the sexes. We didn't have gays being thrown off rooftops. But when Israel dragged every last man, woman, and child out of Gaza and exhumed the dead bodies because they knew what Hamas would do with it, we had a terror state, and that's a big mistake, and the world is yet to admit that. And the real question is, why is the world preventing Gazans from leaving Gaza? Why are they insisting that they remain as human hostages for Hamas and as civilian human shields? And the third point really is, are they refugees or are they not refugees? Because if Gazans are Palestinian refugees, then Gaza is not their home, and they should be relocated so that they are not used by Hamas as human shields. If Gaza is their home, then the entire premise upon which the whole Israeli-Palestinian conflict is based and the right of return is false. The only people being deliberately starved in Gaza are the hostages right now. You look at Avitar David. He looks like a concentration camp survivor who was forced to dig his own grave. When the body of Eden Yerushalmi, after she was murdered, was returned, she was 70 pounds. Contrast that to the pictures, these, I'll say, artistic pictures of children, most of them with diseases.
Really, Brooke?
Yes, really.
I mean,
yes,
really,
really.
You're
Propaganda
saying
pictures of these people. You never see pictures of adults. And famine is not selective, Peter. You can't have a child who's starving and then the mother is
Brooke, are we really,
overweight or the brother is fully fed.
Now, like, I'm trying not to be too I would say, undisciplined and biased. But you guys know how I feel about Israel. But I do believe, and let me just give a synopsis of what I believe on this whole thing. Do I think Israel is doing everything right? No, I don't think they're doing it. Do I think that people are getting killed illegally in this war? Yeah, I think some IDF soldiers could be killing people illegally. They could be literally killing people unjustifiably and should be prosecuted for it. I think that could happen. I'm open-minded enough to say, if you're in the military and these people have killed your people in the way in which they did, they want you dead, they got hostages, I can see some people being rogue. I can see some people shooting people for no reason or taking their anger out on the people. I can see it being on a micro level, just a few instances of foul play. I'm not going to sit here and act like that's impossible to happen. I don't have any verifiable evidence that's necessarily happening. But if somebody said it, that it happened and it came out true that it happened, I'm not surprised. I wouldn't be surprised. Would I be surprised if Israel was not being truthful about some of the information that they're putting out? It could very well be the case. America is not always truthful. Countries are going to act in their best interests. Now, at the same token, do I think that Hamas and Palestinians and Gazans and the UN and media outlets are lying on Israel? 100%. And if you think that these people aren't lying, you tripping. Do I think that the death toll and the numbers are skewed coming from Gaza and terrorist Hamas? Yes, I think they're skewed. At the end of the day, my belief is that Israel is doing what they should be doing to the best of their ability. When you do what Hamas did in Israel, this is what happens to you. This is what happens to your people. And I don't think that Israel is intentionally hurting these people, but I think that they have to go after the enemy, and in going after the enemy, innocent people are going to die. I condemn IDF soldiers that are shooting people who are innocent, doing it for no reason. I don't support that. But the overall mission of the IDF is not that. They're doing it with integrity. They're doing it tactically. They're risking their lives to protect innocent Gazans, to escort them to safe places, to go ground. They could just do everything and shoot them from the air. They don't have to send a single person on the ground. But there are going ground, door-to-door type of tactical insurgents so that they can minimize casualties. They're doing what's right to the best of their ability. And I think that if anybody want to criticize anybody, how about you start with Hamas? Can you please get your head out of your rear and start talking about Hamas at least as much as you're talking about Israel? If you're going to call a people evil, then I want to hear you also call Hamas evil. Is that not fair to say? If you say that these people are evil and they're starving Gazans, then I want that person who would have that stance to also say that they're starving Israelis who are hostages, whom we see on camera. That's skin and bones. And the young lady, and then let me say this about a genocide. Please don't be deceived. Please do research about what is a genocide and what countries and military forces have participated in genocidal behavior in the past. Compare and contrast. What happened to Jews in Europe or Jews in Germany was a genocide. When you kill between 40, 50, and 60% of a population of people, that is a genocide. In Gaza, there's 3% that they claim that have been killed. Let's take them at their word. 3%. And they're not differentiating the combatants from the civilians. And many people can't differentiate, even if they're civilians, are they participating in support of Hamas? So they're not differentiating. We're talking 3%. The Hutu and Tutsi, in that genocide, which was the biggest genocide ever committed in the world, which was 1 million people killed in 100 days. That was like 80+% of the population of the African group. So this is not a genocide. The West Bank are Palestinians. Gazans are Palestinians. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, they are of the same faith. Am I tripping? How do you claim that there's a genocide when the West Bank don't have no issues with Israel at this point militarily, but you have Gaza and you call it a genocide? It's like if they were genocide and they'd be genociding all the Palestinians, but they're not. They're at war with Hamas. And somebody said something about the comments. I ain't had a chance to read the comments, but we will do a discussion, and I'll have people on and we can have this discussion. And I think I'll try to make it as fruitful as possible, because there's a lot of misinformation out there. And then there's a lot of people who have an opinion and they're entitled to an opinion. Like, I don't care what people think about Israel. I'm not going to boycott you. I'm not going to get you canceled. You're entitled to your opinion. And if it's wrong, I'm going to explain why it's wrong. I have the burden of proof to say that's wrong. But outside of that, you can believe what you want to believe. I don't care. Why would I care? I think everybody should feel that way. The weird thing is that if you support Palestine, it's less controversial than if you support Israel for some reason. You support Israel, oh man, it's like, nah, man, why y'all getting weird? I can support Israel. Why can't I not support Israel? You know, and I'm not talking about y'all, because a lot of y'all obviously agree with me. Let's move on. I want to get to these stories real quick. This is one of the craziest ones that I've seen. I'm sorry I haven't read y'all comments. If you want me to read it, for sure, super chat it, because then it'll pop up at the screen as a big block color. But if you're just writing it, I can't see it. There's tons of them coming and going. Let's talk about the. Can I say this on the air?
I don't think you can.
It start with a D and end with a dough. End with a dough. I guess they throwing these on the court at the WNBA game. Now, I don't know what this represents. Are they making fun of the girls because they lesbians? Or are they making fun of the hot girls to make it a sexual thing? I don't know what they're doing. Or maybe both. They're doing it for both of them. Because it's just a little thing. It don't have a, y'all don't want me to get crazy on here. I'm saved. Look, Jesus is Lord. If it had a belt on it, I'm trying to say it without saying. If the thing had a belt on it, then I know who they targeting, right? I know who they throwing out there for. But it don't have a belt on it, then maybe that's for the real women. That like men's. That like men's. All right, roll the clip. How do you even get that in the game? That's crazy.
Sorry, guys. It's okay. Oh my gosh. Are you okay? Did it hit you? I have absolutely nothing to say.
Oh, look out.
They got the thing on the free throw line.
Came onto the floor. Got an object that just flew in.
And then she kicked it in somebody's face.
Made. And it looked like that hit a player, too.
It hit a player.
You can see the object, the block right there. And the object comes, that green thing bounces.
They throwing green ones in there. That's
line.
crazy.
We're not exactly we're not sure where it came from. But to my knowledge, it's still underneath the seat. I'm looking right at it. Why it would have been launched, I do not know. But they got to get that person up out of here now.
And security is on the way. And there is just absolutely no room for any of that type of activity.
Yeah, and no one's picked the object up yet. You guys, oh my gosh, okay.
Yeah, somebody put some gloves on.
Got a whistle away from the basketball.
Why are they throwing the green? All of them are green, though. Yeah, I guess that does make sense, but like, what is this? Does anybody have any clue of why they throwing these Peters on the floor at the WNBA game? Are they trying to be funny? Are they harassing these women? Is it criminal? Like, what do you guys think? I don't think it's criminal, but it could be if it hits somebody. Then that could be assault, I guess. I guess if you throw it at a kid, that could be, I would say indecent exposure. Exposing adult toys to kids is crazy. What are they doing? Risk getting kicked out of the basketball arena forever just to throw that thing on the court. Some people probably think that the WNBA is doing it so it can draw attention to the WNBA. What do y'all think? Y'all think that's what they're trying to do? They got people throwing it out there so it's some controversy. Oh, I'm talking about it. They talking about it. Now you got eyeballs on the WNBA. They missing free throws, but them things are falling on the court.
You can make bets it can happen too.
You can bet on it?
You can bet on it, they'll be on the court now.
That's funny. Now I guess you can bet on it. The likelihood of you being in the game when they throw one out there. Assault by ding dong. That should be a statute. It's not just a regular assault. You got to assault it with a pecker. All right. Let's see. All right, that's enough of that. I just wanted to throw that out there so y'all can see it. It looked like in July the 29th, it happened in Atlanta, a Golden State game. August the 1st, it happened at the Chicago Sky game. August the 5th, it happened. And the league said they have a zero tolerance policy. Offenses face immediate ejection, 1-year ban, and possibly an arrest. And you could imagine what the arrest would be. It could be assaulting somebody if you hit somebody in the head with that thing. Security increase at the games, stricter bag checks, and fan monitoring is underway. They've already arrested a person, Delbert Carver, 23-year-old, arrested in Atlanta's incident, charged with disorderly conduct, criminal trespassing, and indecent exposure. Oh, see, they will charge you with indecent exposure. Allegedly said he wanted to go viral. Well, he ain't like he don't do no real time. Sophia Cunningham, she laughed, but later said it didn't age well when she laughed. I don't know why they mad at it. It's kind of funny to see that. It shouldn't be a thing. Oh, and they have bets like Nick was talking about earlier. You can bet on it. The color of it, location of it, the type that it is, and how it was removed. You can bet on it. People do anything to make some money.
It's also kind of nasty, but how people can sneak it in. Just saying.
Oh, Nick nasty over here. You must be your mind nasty. He said people can sneak it in. They can sneak it in. No pun intended. In. That means that it's in. So they can't find it in the bag. Because it ain't in the bag. It's in somebody. That's nasty. You got to be a nasty mother. All right. Last thing, Howard Stern has been kicked off of his show. Probably just like everything else, all these anti-Trumpers that just trumpeted Trump, blaming anti-vaxxers and just getting everything wrong. His $500 million contract is set to expire soon, and they will not renew. And so when I say he's kicked off, it's because they won't renew his contract. Now, he's been on the air for 20 plus years. I was making $500 million to be talking. Maybe one day I will. But y'all remember Howard Stern. I mean, Howard Stern obviously is a legend on the radio, but for some reason he got weird. The anti-Trump stuff, the blaming the anti-vaxxers, and he got what? Kamala Harris on his show. It just didn't age well for him. No pun intended. So let's go to the clip. We're going to go to the clips. Claims that Trump despises Trump voters or despising his base is something he said. And here's a clip of it. Wrote a clip.
In all of this is the people Trump despises most love him the most. Go look at Mar-a-Lago. See if there's any people that look like you. I'm talking to you in the audience. The Trump voter who, idolizes the guy. He despises you.
Next one.
Yeah, and I firmly believed that Donald did not want to run for president. I don't think it was serious. I don't think he wanted to be the president. I knew him. He had a great life at Mar-a-Lago. He was running around town. He played golf. He had a good time. And I remember, and I say this, the first time he said, I might run for president, he put out his first book. And I know some of the people involved in this, and they said, pretend like you're running for president and you'll sell a lot of books. And he did it and it worked. Second book he put out, it was again, like 4 years later, he said, I might run for president. And again, he said, oh, I'm selling books and it helps sell books.
Yeah.
So what happened this time? He's on The Apprentice, the ratings were going down, and NBC was balking at giving him a raise. So what did he say? I'll run for president, I'll get a lot of press. And I really believe that Donald, this was a gimmick to get NBC to raise up his salary and to keep The Apprentice on.
Well,
and I would bet the farm on that.
Now, of course, he would say that. Now, is that a possibility? Yeah, it's possible that Trump did that. Is it plausible? No. I don't think any rational person, and Trump wasn't 26 years old when he decided to run for president. Donald Trump had been asked by Oprah Winfrey in the past, she brought it up, not him, that would he run for president? And it's a very honorable thing to do, but it's very challenging. And I think Donald Trump knows that it's challenging. And why would he risk everything to try to be the president? And then, I mean, I don't know. It could have gone the way where he's that arrogant. I don't know. And then he wins, and then he can't stop winning, so he's gonna keep running because he want to keep winning. You know, I don't know, but I just think that it's somebody who's jealous of Donald Trump's success and his timing on becoming successful. And his timing was right on his books, and they blame it because he said he's going to run for president. His timing was right running for president. He was what the American people wanted. And Howard Stern has just been a hater ever since. What is this? The clip of past Howard Stern quotes against Trump, play it. I think this is one. I can't see it on there, but
in the White House.
Play it.
I don't hate the guy. I hate the people who vote for him. I think they're stupid. I do. I'll be honest with you. I have no respect for you.
Anyone unvaccinated would not be admitted to a hospital. At this point, they've been given plenty of opportunity to get the vaccine. They don't trust our government. They think that there's some conspiracy to turn them into a magnet or something like this. Now, if you don't get it, in my America, all hospitals would be closed to you. You're going to go home and die.
Can you imagine saying something that stupid? I'm glad he lost his show. What a dummy. All right, video 4.
Not only were you a star football player, but you were a lifeguard. I mean, you really, and you were the only white guy who was lifeguarding in this black community, right? I mean, you were the one guy.
I was.
Your family is pretty, again, this goes to my point about, the president is the father of our country. That's something we all say. And I think your family is so extraordinary because of the way they've conducted themselves and how they are with you, that I feel you have a lot to give to the presidency. These are my feelings. It's pretty amazing family. And I'm proud of it. I submit for your approval that when you have a loving family like that, you got a lot to give because you get so much from them. You're the kind of leader I love because we're lucky to have you in the Oval Office and serving as the father of the country.
I can't listen to it no more. I can't listen to it no more. Let's play the last clip of Mr. Blackface. They'll throw you away. They'll burn you down, throw away the key if they found you doing this. But when they do it, it's fine. And they act like they never did it. Roll the clip.
Everything I'm going to say here tonight, so it's all right. Ain't that right, you smelling?
I didn't write that.
Well, you is a smelling.
I want y'all to know he said the N-word.
New Year's Eve party there.
You're not tired of this.
And don't be racially offended, because Whoopi done wrote them for me, okay? Here we go.
Go ahead.
Black hole.
Black hole.
You're going to love this. Hey, look at that. What do I loves most about the Whoopi?
Oh,
yeah.
Such a great timing.
Hey, Robin, what does you call a black rocket scientist?
I don't know, Dad.
Whoopi wrote it. Hey, did you happen to notice this?
No, what
this
is that?
This here's my mother, Mama dancing. Why, She done working blackface too.
She must be very proud.
Yeah.
Now I know you really love me, Ted. You the man.
I tell you, you the man. What done happened to Sherman's career? It's really over the end. I want you to give us a kiss, you smelly cockhead. I love you.
May I say something here?
Mm-hmm. Oh, you can say whatever you want, you smelly. Whoopi wrote that.
That's it, Ted. You didn't know I was going to say that. Whoopi had no chance to write it. I don't accept that kind of language. You can call her whatever you want, but you don't talk to me that way or I'll leave.
Well, don't let the door hit you on your big black mama on the way out of here. Now, where was I?
Now imagine doing that today. Woo! They might kill you. They may hang you from the Capitol building. Like, but these people get away with it, and they act like nothing ever happened, and then they virtue signal as if everybody else is the problem, except for them. It's just mind-boggling to me. Let me get to the super chats real quick. I think I missed one. Then we're gonna get out of here. I got to go to the court. I was supposed to go yesterday, but I was too lazy. Ethel, thanks so much for the super chat. I appreciate it. And we had one more up here, and that was Lori. Officer Tatum, Salt and Honey did a great video along with a challenge for you. I saw it. I shared it on my page. But yeah, they said they were gonna match whatever we raised for them to give to the police department. And so I thought that was a really, really good gesture. I'd like for them to keep it for themselves, and maybe give all their employees an extra $100 or something on their check or something like that. But if they want to do that, I'm fine with that. I think they're great people. I think it's a great company, and I'm glad that we were able to help them, because the lunatic that made that cringy, crazy video and lied about racism and went on with his life, kind of got away scot-free, and I don't think that was right. So I'm glad that we were able to circumvent that foolery. But anyway, I appreciate you guys. I'm gonna make a post on the community tab, and I want to see who you guys think I should bring on the panel. It'll be 2 pro-Israeli, 1 pro-Hamas. You can't be pro-Palestine and not pro-Hamas at this point. So I said pro-Hamas, and then I will be trying to mediate and trying to stay out of it for the most part, asking compelling questions, because I want to hear people who think that they're experts on the topic be able to converse. And we'll do that, and if it goes well and you guys enjoy it, we'll run the panel back with different people, and then we'll see where it goes. But I think that the topic needs to be explained, because I think it's too many people hearing from this side and not hearing the other side. And that's just my thing. And you can call me Talmud Tatum anytime you want to. You can call me a Zionist anytime you want to. I say this to the mountaintop. I'm a proud Zionist. And people get mad at me if you want to. I don't care. I'm a proud Zionist. I think that Israel should have their own state. It's biblically prophesied, and it's happening right now. It's happening right now. And if you tell me who's right or wrong in the situation, the Israelis are right, the Jewish people are right, and these other people are wrong. That's just the way it is. I don't think people should be getting killed over it. But if you want that smoke, then you got the smoke. Hamas released the hostages, and nobody has to lose their life no more. You send an emaciated, skeletal, almost a live skeleton of a person digging his own grave, and because they want Israel to respond so they can say, look, Hanan and the boo-boo, yeah, look, they hurt all our people. You're poking the bear. That's why when things happen, I'm like, almost everything that happened from this point on is on y'all. You go and kill. Let me say this. I'm done. You go and do what they did on October the 7th. I don't know how far it's going too far. You do what you got to do until every Hamas soldier is no longer existent. And if that involves, unfortunately, innocent people losing their lives, I don't like the fact. I wish that it could not happen. I wish that Hamas would fight like real men, but they won't. But the ultimate goal is to eradicate them. If they want to hide behind their own people, then why do Israel care about their people more than they care about their people? Let's ask the question. Do their people care about Israel more than they care about Hamas? I'm just saying. And I wish that we can differentiate. I wish that everybody in Gaza could say, I don't support Hamas. Okay, come bring them over here. Everybody else that say they support Hamas, you can come over here if you want to, but if you stay over there, you already picking your side. And because we going after them, whether you there or not. So come on over here and get out the way. But if you support them, then fight with your people. Everybody that don't support that mess, come on this side. It's almost how I feel about it. Like I don't have as much sympathy as I see people having for this situation. Like, it's war, bruh. What are we talking about? And my whole thing is this. If Hamas could do what Israel can do, what would they do? They would bludgeon and kill every single Jewish kid, woman, man, elderly. They will murder them, behead them in the middle of the street. And they wouldn't just strategically strike. They will kill everybody. They will kill everybody. And they're not doing that because Israel has power. Somebody said that's a genocide. You know what's funny is that, let's just say you went to war and 40% of the people in that country are military and terrorists, and you take out 40% which are just terrorists. Is that a genocide? Let's put this in perspective. Do you consider people who died as terrorists a part of a genocide? It just bothers me with that stuff. It's a genocide. They killed 40,000 people. Well, 20, 30,000 of them were Hamas. So are you counting Hamas in a genocide? Won't mention one time them blindly shooting rockets into Israel. And because they have the Iron Dome, that's the only reason why hundreds of thousands of Jews aren't dead right now. They firing rockets in the populated cities, the most populated city. But let me tell you where they won't fire a rocket at. Jerusalem. Do you know why they won't fire a rocket in Jerusalem? I was wondering this the other day. I'm like, Jerusalem? I don't see them shooting in Jerusalem. Because the mosque is there. And the terrorist organization ain't going to destroy the symbol of Islam in the world, which is in Jerusalem, where they believe that Muhammad ascended from. They're not going to shoot there. Are they? Okay. That's what I thought. These people shooting in the populated areas trying to kill every single Jew they can. They just can't. I'm going to say this and I'm done. This is the phrase, take this home to your mama. Take this home to your mama and them. Israel could wipe every Gazan off the planet Earth, but they won't. Hamas wants to wipe every Jew off the planet Earth, but they can't. That is the biggest difference. Israel could sweep 100,000 people in 48 hours if they wanted to. You round them all up in one area, tell them to migrate there, and then hit that place with a bomb. Boom, you got 200,000-300,000 people gone one time. Israel is deliberately not doing that. The fact that their civilian to terrorist ratio is better than most major wars in urban areas should tell you something about intent. And you got to be an irrational person not to see that. They could be doing all kind of stuff. They could wipe a whole group of them out and say, oops, it's our fault. They think they out here just doing 2 or 3 people at a time. Oh, they kill 5 people because they're trying to show them something. Killing 5 people when there's millions of people that live in the country is not a thing. It's going to scare people. It's hundreds of thousands of people untouched. What I would think would be a problem, and I would be critical of Israel if they did this, is if they rounded all these people up and they dropped a bomb and it killed a bunch of people and they go, oops, it was an accident. That would be horrific, and that would be intentional. But anyway, I appreciate you guys. I'm finna get up out of here. I love you. God bless America. I'm out.
Oh, the land of the free and the home of